Alright, let's call these fucking pieces of shit up again.
You've reached the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
And crisis, that's right.
Your call is now being transferred to the Veterans Crisis Line. Your call will be recorded. Your call may be monitored for quality assurance purposes. During the silent transfer, you may hear beeps. Please stay on the line as your call is transferred to the next available VCL responder. Veterans and Military Crisis Line. This is Katie Eden. How may I help you?
I got a question. I'm pretty sure that you don't have enough time for me to call you the N-word as many times as I've been called the N-word in the last few days. But on the bright side, that word is not a part of my vocabulary. In Chapel, Nebraska, people called me N-word lover for years. You know what? Here's the thing. All of you lines, all of you, run us victims through the fucking mud. We call you because we're sent to you because you're supposed to be mandated reporters. You are supposed to help people, but you don't. The lady I spoke with the last recording on my YouTube channel, over 3 hours long of being treated completely like fucking trash by 988 number after 988 number, being sent to other places, being sent to other numbers, every fucking one of you saying exactly the same goddamn things.
What exactly kind of help are you looking for tonight?
Not just tonight, ma'am. This isn't a temporary fucking call. I was on a call to you guys earlier, and I was so nice, and I was treated completely like shit. The next call, same thing, I was so nice, didn't even curse, but holy fuck. No, I just got talked over. The same goddamn bullshit from every agency. 988, 211, and of course, Tillamook Family Counseling Center. And then we got TCCHC. And then we got CARE. And we got the Health and Human Services. And we got ODHS. Oh yeah, we got 8 numbers at Health and Human Services. Just to try to get everything straight for my disability. But it doesn't matter because I can't function. Because nobody gives a shit if I'm abused. While I was on the last call just a few minutes ago, I was not fucking happy. After an entire 3 days of calling one line after another, hoping that any of you gave a shit. No, I just got bullied. You don't give a fuck if people harm me in real life. That last lady I was talking to just wouldn't shut the fuck up. And while she wouldn't shut the fuck up, some of my predators drove by and pulled some more goddamn hate crimes. And she would have heard that shit if she hadn't been busy fucking talking, which is why it's a good thing I fucking record it. After she was done, they drove around the block again and did it again. They were threatening all sorts of harm against me last week, too. Not that anybody gives a fuck, because I'm a fucking homeless dude. I was just harmed again at Center Market. And I can't turn it in, because cops will fucking harm me again. Meanwhile, not one of you goddamn mandated reporters has lifted a goddamn finger about any of the crimes committed against me. All you give a fuck about is if I want to kill myself for others, because you can have me locked up for that. That's all you fucking care about. That discredits the fucking victim.
I understand that you're upset because of how you felt like you were treated,
No, not felt like. It's fucking recorded on my goddamn YouTube channel. Every goddamn call, including this one.
So what can I do for you tonight on this call?
You can take the situation seriously.
What is the situation?
The situation is I'm being abused. I'm being threatened, harassed, and assaulted. Repeatedly. It's been ongoing since the death of Natalie Bollinger. It was bad before she was killed, and it got a lot worse after she got her brains blown out. Tonight I had to deal with some of them youngins that love calling me the N-word. They even had a little KKK rally for me. It was fucking cute. They started off with 3 girls yelling the N-word at me. And then they got on the bullhorn and started yelling at me and saying, "Oh, we're not saying anything racist." Oh, my God. But you know what? That doesn't take the cake. What takes the cake is the number of hours that I've spent on the phone with you guys, with 988, with 211. Being told that I needed to take it to 911. I tried taking it to 911. They fucking bullied me. And so did the fucking cops, just like you guys do.
Let me ask
The
you,
moment you find out I'm a homeless person who's trying to turn in cops. Do what?
Are you a veteran?
No.
You do understand that you've reached the veterans and...
Yeah, I'm not fucking retarded.
Line,
the reason I called back to complain to this line is because this is the line that I was on prior to this. I'm not fucking retarded. Yes, I'm well aware.
Okay. So the reason why they may have recommended you to call 211 and your local crisis line, because
I'm not fucking retarded. I don't need you to explain this shit to me. Alright? I don't need every one of you fucking assholes trying to fucking retard explain it to me. I'm not a fucking idiot. I'm a human being who is being abused repeatedly. You know, there may be the reason they sent you to...
So, with everything that you have going on, are you having any suicidal thoughts tonight?
Shut the fuck up.
Okay. Have you had thoughts of suicide in the past?
Shut the fuck up. How about try listening to the fucking victim instead of interrupting him so you can fill out your little scorecard, making sure that you ask the questions that you actually give a shit about. The stuff that makes you assholes money. The stuff that discredits the victims. Gets this little tag of mentally ill above our head.
Okay. So we do not tolerate disrespect.
Shut the fuck up, you stupid goddamn cunt. I am gonna fucking hang up on your ass. Oh, they don't fucking tolerate disrespect. They don't fucking tolerate disrespect.
You've reached the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Your call is now being transferred to the Veterans Crisis Line. Your call will be recorded. Your call may be monitored for quality assurance purposes. During the silent transfer, you may hear beeps. Please stay on the line as your call is transferred to the next available VCL responder.
Bianca speaking. How may I help you?
You can stop bullying me. All of you guys can. You can start actually listening to the victims instead of trying to pawn us off on each other. All of you agencies say the same thing. You can't do nothing. You're just, what do you call them? Referral line. You refer me to 211. 211 refers me back to you. You refer me to 211 again, they refer me back to you. You both refer me to 911. 911 tells me that I gotta go back to you and I gotta go back to them. We're just playing fucking hot potatoes with a human life here. Not that you give a shit. The last lady told me she doesn't tolerate any
may I get your name, please?
And guess what? I shouldn't have to tolerate any disrespect. But I don't get paid for dismissing victims outright. For pawning victims off on other people.
May I get your name, please?
Sean Schwartz.
Hi, Mr. Schwartz. How can I help you?
I'm tired of being bullied. I'm tired of being sent on to other places. I want to know why it is that out of the hundreds of calls that I've made to you, to 988, that not one person has ever actually helped me to get to a safe place. Not once have the police here ever tried to investigate. And do you know why? Because they're the ones who committed the crimes against me, but it doesn't matter because we're playing hot potatoes with a human life. Isn't that right? All you can do is send me to 211, or you can look up local resources. You can send me to, of course, the Northwest Senior and Disability Services, or TFCC. Hey, you might get lucky and find some pretty obscure places, like places that only help out alcoholics and drug addicts. Yeah, that's right. All of your fucking referrals, not one of them gets a single person to care about the abuse that I'm going through, or to listen to the evidence. I can't take care of myself. Are you
having any current thoughts of suicide?
And see, there you go, just like a crackhead, like a squirrel with a nut. You want to fill out those little questionnaires real quick so you can pretend like you did your job.
Well, I tell you what, sir. Since if I'm unable to...
211 only cares about suicide, too. They don't care about the victim. They don't care about who's harming the victim, just like you don't. You only care if the victim wants to harm themselves. That's the part that makes the hospitals money. That's the part that discredits the victim and makes it so that instead of them being raped once, now they're going to be at high risk for being raped repeatedly for the rest of their lives over a tag of mentally ill.
Enjoy the rest of your night, sir.
And see, now you're being rude and disrespectful. You're trying to push a victim to suicide. And see, they hung up. Let's try this shit again.
Your call is now being transferred to the Veterans Crisis Line. Your call will be recorded. Your call may be monitored for quality assurance purposes. During the silent transfer, you may hear beeps. Please stay on the line as your call is transferred to the next available VCL responder.
Thank you for calling the Veterans and Military Crisis Line. This is Pam. How can I help you?
You could help get assisted suicide legal instead of trying to push people to commit suicide.
Can I help? Okay, sir. How can I help you?
You can get a hold of whoever you have to get a hold of to get me a safe place with my evidence away from Tillamook, Oregon, so that I can turn in Tillamook, Oregon. I'm tired of being abused here by law enforcement. I'm tired of people driving by and screaming all of that hateful stuff. I'm tired of it. And I would absolutely love to get your help, but instead, I call up nicely repeatedly and I get talked over, dismissed, disrespected, dehumanized. and sent to
Okay.
other services. They're not services. All they are is talk lines that waste our time. They waste the victim's time, allowing our predators to get away until ultimately we end our own existence. And I want to thank you
Okay.
so much for pushing that on us, for pushing on us that all you care about is suicide. All you care about is shoving us up into a little box called mentally ill.
Sir, sir, what is your name?
Sean Schwartz.
Okay, Sean, are you, I know it sounds like you're a little upset tonight.
I've heard
Are
at
you
least
having any
100 times, are you having any thoughts of harming yourself or others? When are we going to get to the part where we remove me from harm's way? Where's the part where you get me safely away from the police here in Tillamook and safely away from these racists? Where's that part? Where's the part where somebody actually thinks of me as a human being instead of pawning me off on someone else?
I'm not trying to do that, Sean.
You know why girls cut on
I'm here.
themselves? Because of abuse and neglect in specific. You know why boys kill themselves? Because people listen to girls. Nobody gives a shit about us.
I don't think that's true, sir.
It's
Or stop,
absolutely
Sean.
true. It is absolutely true. Sexual bias is absolutely a real thing. Men are more likely to be the victims of physical assaults. They're also, obviously, if you've been paying attention to the news recently, women are more likely to be sexual abusers, not men. They're also
Okay.
more likely to make false accusations if they don't get what they want. By the way, I could send you recordings with dozens of women who did them things to their boyfriends, then whined and pined that their boyfriend wouldn't take them back after they said their boyfriend wore girly underpants, was into little boys, and was a cross-dresser. Yeah, it's kind of insane how many people think that's okay.
Sir, I know that you sound very upset regarding things. I just want to make sure you're in the safe environment. And
No, ma'am, I'm not in a
just wondering
safe
if
environment. I am not safe from harm. I'm not trying to
okay,
harm myself or others. Others are harmful to me, often. And police here don't care. This is KKK territory.
okay. And where do you live at, sir?
I live in my car, which is one of the things that makes me easy to blow off. It also makes it so that I can't protect myself. Just one
Okay.
of many
So,
things that contributes to that.
okay. Well, have you ever attempted to end your life in the past,
See,
sir?
here's the thing. You don't care about the abuse that I'm enduring, including the hate crimes committed against me tonight by multiple people. But that doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't, does it?
What?
It doesn't matter what people do to me, does it?
Yes, it does, Sean. What
No, it
type
doesn't.
of?
All you care about is making sure that you fill out those little numbers on your checklist. Did I ask
Um,
this? Did I ask this? Did I make sure that I pushed just the suicide thing? Did I make sure that I tried to redirect it when he tried telling about his predators? Did I make sure to ask him over and over and over again the same questions as if he didn't answer them already and hasn't heard them 1,000 times already?
okay. So, what type of has been going on? You said what type of abuse you've experienced today. What kind have you experienced?
Well, ma'am, to start with, I've had to deal with systemic abuse and neglect by mandated reporters over and over again. I've had to repeatedly hear the same speech from every agency that I've reached out to. And of course, when I reached out to 911 as directed yesterday, I was arrested. So I literally cannot call 911 because I have to fear 911 being used as retaliation for me trying to get help stopping my abusers. Do you know what that's like, to have to be afraid to call 911 because you'll be arrested?
I've never had that experience. No, sir.
Yeah, it kind of sucks to be a homeless, disabled man. We're treated
So
more
it sounds like you've...
we're treated more inhumanely than you can possibly believe. And lucky for
So
me,
what...
I've recorded it. Unlucky for me, I've recorded police officers breaking the law. I've recorded people from 988 breaking the law. I've recorded people from APS breaking the law. I literally can't take care of myself, and I do get a disability check because I am disabled. And refusing to investigate crimes against me is against the law. But I have to turn in mandated reporters. I literally can't take care of myself. All of my money gets spent paying crackheads and drug addicts to help me with the things that cops are supposed to help with, the things that APS is supposed to help with, the things that I wouldn't need help with if I hadn't been robbed of my home.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir, or Sean, that you've had this terrible experience that's happened in the last little bit.
Ma'am, if this happened to anybody in your family, you'd be pissed. You'd be pissed, and you would be on the phone right now with them to the police. The problem is, because I didn't have that right at the beginning, now I have to fear the police because they didn't do their jobs either. They didn't care that I was disabled. All they saw was homeless man, and they treated me like junkie. That's all they see.
Yeah. I mean, are you a veteran, Sean?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
See, you're just going through your checklist. That's all you're doing. I've already been through your checklist probably a dozen times in the last 2 days. What we need to be going through is the checklist of turning in abuse against an at-risk adult and getting a victim to a safe location where their predators do not have access to them.
Okay. And so have you been abused in the last little while?
Yes, including neglected by 988.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure you're safe. I know you said you're in your car.
No, I'm not
are you
safe.
having any
I already told you that I'm not safe, and you keep going back to the suicide thing. You need to stop that. Other people hurt me. I'm not harming them. They're harming me. Instead of trying to focus on thoughts of suicide over and over again like a crackhead with a rock, could we please focus on what I'm telling you? I need to get safely away from where I am at. But I don't have a guardian, and I need one. I can't provide myself with one. I can't provide myself with an advocate. I am being abused because I am alone. I need help stopping the abuse. Being alone puts me at a much higher risk of abuse. Did you know that? I'm also autistic. I have Asperger's. It's high-functioning autism. So I'm denied the rights of an autistic person or a disabled person because I'm not retarded. But then, of course, I can't turn in my predators because I have Asperger's, and people associate Asperger's and, of course, autism with mental retardation. Then they try to pretend like we're all schizophrenics. See, I got to deal with people's assumptions all day and the decisions that they make. Instead of trying to understand that I am afraid and I have communication difficulties because of it, y'all do the same exact things that make me afraid to begin with. Why would I go to anybody for help about people bullying me until I want my life to end, when all those places are going to do is lock me up if I admit it? Have me stamped with suicidal ideations. And then, magically, all you care about is whether or not I'm trying to kill myself. You don't give a fuck who rapes me, who beats me, who threatens my life. You don't give two shits about how many hate crimes are committed against me by the police and the public. What you care about is that it's not your job. You want to know if I'm trying to kill myself or others, or if I have any plans of suicide. You want to know if I'm homeless or not. Because if I'm homeless, you don't have to give a shit. Then all of a sudden you've got this list of resources. We should go to this homeless shelter and we should go to that homeless shelter. None of it turns in the abuse immediately, and that's the excuses that the police get to use. Well, you should have turned it in immediately, even though I did.
Okay. I know that you're
If you listen to my calls from earlier today, if you listen to them,
sir, I don't have access to that. I don't know.
But I do.
I know you might have called earlier. I don't have any access to that. I just know that you're very upset right now.
I recorded 14 hours with you guys
abused.
on 988, and I can show you the conversations that I had prior. Yes, I'm very upset. But I'm not screaming at you or yelling at you. I am scared shitless. I also have an ear infection in each ear. So I can't hardly hear you, and I can hardly hear the sound of my own voice. I'm also scared of the environment that I'm in because people keep harming me. They won't leave me alone.
I'm sorry that you're experiencing
I don't need an I'm sorry. If you were being victimized like this, would you want an I'm sorry, or would you want somebody to put a stop to it?
I would probably want someone to help me out and put a stop to it. Yes.
So how do you stop abuse?
The only thing I could tell you, sir, is, I know that we've probably provided you resources.
No, you've provided me with numbers that sent me your number right back. None of you send me to resources. None of you should be allowed your jobs. These are not resources. They are phone numbers that send us to other phone numbers. Stop calling them resources. They're not resources. They do the exact same thing you do. They just have a different name. All the questions are the same. It's the same suicide questions that you care about. You don't care about the abuse that we're enduring. You only care if we want to hurt ourselves. You don't care if other people hurt us. Do you know how harmful and hurtful that is to the victim? How dehumanizing that makes us feel? How you're going to put it on the victim for being abused. For being abused to the point that they want to die. Now, I have the right to my own opinions, and that includes the belief that assisted termination of life should be legal.
Sean, I know that you are not having a good night, and I just want to make sure you're safe, and I know you sound like that you
No, I'm not
are
safe.
being punished. Okay.
I'm not safe from others. Other people are being harmful to me. I record 24/7 if I'm available, because you never know when someone's going to be doing something harmful to a homeless person. There's a lot of hatred right now. And you know who people are most likely to take their hatred out on? The people who it's easiest to take it out on. That would be the homeless, the disabled, and men.
And like you said, you've tried to call 911. I mean, I know that's something that you should still, consider. And if you're not feeling very well, you can always call.
No. I was arrested yesterday for calling 911. All right?
Okay, well,
that was a hell of an ordeal. I've been trying to turn that in literally all day. 988 sent me to 911. I called 911. I got arrested. Thank you for the advice. Thank you for shoving me off onto my predators. This is a small town. It's Tillamook. The sheriff's department, the police department, and 911 dispatch, they all know each other. If one of them commits a crime, the others are all going to cover for him. But yeah, that's a smart idea. Send me to my predators to turn in my predators to my predators here. Meanwhile, it's not just law enforcement. And instead of every one of these ending up being me having a quote unquote conversation, how about you let me play some of the evidence so you know what's going on?
Sir, you don't have to play me any of the evidence. The only thing I could tell you is that, that's your nearest option. If someone is hurting you, you would need to call your authorities. And
Ma'am, and I tried that and they pawned me off on other people. I'm a disabled and at-risk adult. I literally can't take care of myself. I cannot take care of myself.
I understand that. I know that the only thing I could tell you as a responder and as a crisis person is if you are being hurt in any way, you do need to call the authorities.
Ma'am, I did that and I got arrested.
And I'm sorry that you got arrested. That is not my evaluation, sir. The only thing I could tell you is that is what you may need to do, and if you need to go to the emergency room because you need medical care, then that should be your second option also, okay?
Ma'am, instead of giving me advice, how about you take the information that I'm giving you and try to take it to heart and understand that I have tried literally all day long. I've literally been trying for 7 years to try to get someone to recognize me as a human being. Do you realize how difficult that is? You're probably treated like a human being. You sound like a woman, which means you're more likely to get help if you call 911. If you beat on your husband and he calls 911, did you know he's still more likely to get arrested than you? How crazy is that?
I don't know, sir. I know that, the options that I can tell you is those numbers, but you can also dial 211, which has
Ma'am, I already dialed 211. They sent me to you guys. They also sent me to 911. Y'all just send me around in circles. You try to literally push the victim to suicide. Maybe you should listen to all of these other places that talk over the victims too. When it comes to mandated reporters, you're supposed to be trained to protect the victims, and the evidence.
Well, it's good to know that you're recording things. That's, just to show that, you're thinking of your own rights and things like that. A lot of people might not do that, but it's good that you are. And I know that for you to have a guardian, you would need to, maybe go through, your local area.
Ma'am, would you please stop? I want you to understand that I've made thousands of calls and heard this crap out of everybody. I've been jumping through these hoops, trying to do the things that everybody tells me to do. If you listen to how many 211 calls I've made, you would blow your own head off for even making the suggestion that I call them. That is such a horrible thing to say. That's almost as horrible as when 211 tells me to call 988 or suicide hotline.
Okay.
It's dismissive of the victim. It makes the victim easy prey.
Okay, so what do you know about the support in your area or in your city?
I know that all of them are not mandated reporters. They all tell me the same thing that you do and send me to phone numbers. I know that the Tillamook Family Counseling Center, if you're in a house and you're a woman, they're pretty useful. But if you're a disabled homeless person who is being abused and you need a mandated reporter, a police officer isn't going to do the job. They're going to assume that they don't have to do their job because nobody's going to care about a homeless person. They just send us to Tillamook Family Counseling Center for them to literally not listen to us, try to push us into the housing thing. And I'm not against getting housing, but I'm in Tillamook, Oregon. It's unsafe for me to be here. It's unsafe for me to go to the hospital. It's unsafe for me to go to the police. And instead of treating me like I'm a nut job, it ends up being an argument with everyone. Now, instead of telling me that you won't listen to the recordings, understand that those recordings are evidence of abuse against me. Instead of telling me you believe me, understand that if you believed me, you would have already made the call about my safety. Not about suicide, but about other people harming me. And I cannot provide for myself a safe place away from these people. I cannot physically or mentally take care of myself anymore because of calls to people like you and your agency and 211. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls, round and round in circles. All of you digging for excuses not to have to do the paperwork that goes along with doing a job of a mandated reporter. You just show up to work to get paid, same as everyone else. The victims don't matter. You pretend to care about them, and then all you ask about and all you care to ask about is whether they want to hurt themselves or others. And you're going to push that like it's crack. Every call ends up that way.
Okay. Like when it comes to your recordings, have you went to anyone to, regarding showing it as evidence?
I've tried, they refuse, and they send me to you guys. Or they send me to TFCC, who says they can't look at it. I got to go to Northwest Senior and Disability Services. They say they can't look at it. I got to go to the police. And they send me round in circles the same way you guys do with 211 and 911.
I understand you got evidence, and I know you're tired of hearing about where you should go and what. I would be frustrated too, that people tell you what you should do.
No, it's not that people are telling me what I should do. It's that they're making me do it alone, so it's not working, and they don't give a shit if it works or not. Nobody cares if their advice works or not. You guys reading off your government checklist. It's the same checklist as literally every other place that I call. But you know what? If I call with a friend or a family member, I get treated a lot different. I'm tired of being bullied. I'm tired of it.
Do you have family?
No. And see, there you are trying to go right back to the checklist again. You are trying to finish your checklist, not take the situation
I'm just
seriously.
asking if you have any type of support, that's all.
No, I don't, and I've said that repeatedly.
Okay.
I used to, but y'all destroyed it. You know, the other victims should have been allowed to be able to turn this in and have something done about it. And they should have been allowed to turn it in privately instead of having me post it all over YouTube and Facebook. You know, I tried to turn this in privately, but nobody gives a shit about homeless men. And if you knew how many people are dead because of this exact same treatment. But no, am I getting help here with turning it in? Are you helping me to get somewhere safe? Are you helping me with the money that it has cost me to fucking call you pieces of shit? All of you places, all of you, you're shitty people, even having jobs like that and pretending like you help people. You help them into the grave. When you don't care about the abuse that someone's enduring, but you do care if they're suicidal over it. And that's what you push like crack. That shows that you don't care about the victim. And that hurts because you've gotten so many people killed. The call before this, all right, this is a 39-minute and 52-second long call, apparently. The call before this, there were literally hate crimes committed against me while I was on the phone with the 988 lady who had a very crappy attitude. And I'm expected to just take those shitty attitudes and never give it back. I understand that as a man, I'm supposed to be stoic, and any form of abuse that is bestowed upon me by a woman is some sort of divine providence. It's not. Myself and my evidence should have been the most important thing, and they never have been.
Yeah.
You don't
Sir,
stop to
I'm trying to.
realize the number of assaults that I have to endure in the average week, or the fact that I don't have a caseworker that is going to do their job when I'm assaulted. All they do is send me to 211 or 911 or 988. Nobody wants to do their job when the victim is victimized by the police. Nobody.
Yeah. Sir, I mean, I'm trying to do the best to support you tonight, and I know that you're very agitated and very mad.
Yeah, and most of that is directed right at 988 operators that I spoke with before you. And I'm sorry that I can't hardly hear because I already have volume issues with things that drive by or extraneous noises. And now I've got an ear infection in each ear, so I can't hear shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry that you feel so bad.
Also,
Ma'am,
I am mentally traumatized by all the calls that I've had to make. I can't take care of myself. That right there is supposed to mean something. I get a disability check because I am legit disabled, and that is supposed to mean something.
Yeah.
I have no safe place to go. I have no place to get anywhere because I have spent all of my money jumping through the hoops that mandated reporters told me to jump through. Meanwhile, my disabilities have not been any sort of consideration in any of your questioning ever.
Yeah.
I try to explain that I have disabilities, and beyond that, it's just, of course, me being talked over again. I can't function as a human being, and I am afraid to go to sleep. Do you know what that's like, to be afraid to go to sleep? To be afraid not to record.
I know you're probably afraid to go to sleep, like you said. You've been, victimized.
There were hate crimes committed against me while I was on the phone with the last 988 operator.
So what happened then? What happened?
Some of the youngins that have been part of a lot of this racism and KKK bullshit, some of them drove by and yelled my name and you're a dick. They also went by and called me a few other words, but the thing is, it's been ongoing. These little bastards held a little mini KKK rally over at Tillamook Sporting Goods about a week ago.
Yeah.
It's a KKK town, and I can't move away. Now they got me tied up in the courts because not one mandated reporter the entire time I've been here has actually cared about the crimes against me.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that now I'm talking in circles? That's because I can't function anymore from the abuse by 988 and 211 and 911 and the police for trying to get a safe place.
I'm listening. I understand. I mean, it's hard. You're having, and you don't feel well, and you're having
No. Please help me to get assisted suicide legal. Okay, that right there would be the biggest help right now, because all of you have shown that you don't give a shit who hurts me. I don't have a friend or family member, so no matter what, I'll never matter. The abuse against me will never be turned in because nobody's going to let me turn it in. Nobody's going to allow me the things that all of you take for granted, including being able to work.
Yeah.
I have to live on $800 a month. Could you imagine living on $800 a month?
I can't imagine that. No. Sean, I mean, like, do you have a social worker or counselor in your past that you dealt with?
Yes, but I was victimized out of those areas because those counselors did the same thing that you do. I don't necessarily mean specifically you. I mean
like
all of
went
you.
To a count?
Do what?
Yeah. Have you went to their offices and just kind of?
Yeah, but here's the thing:
here's
the thing is that I've done all of that. Yes, I have, and see, every conversation turns into the same thing, changing the subject. Even if I sit there and go through the whole checklist, before you're even able to answer any of the questions, which I've done before, by the way, just because I got sick and tired of the lady I was talking to getting an attitude. So I got on and I asked all of the questions and answered all the questions. All the ones that you just keep going back to, and so does every other 988 operator. As long as you can say you said those words and did those things. Oh, we referred them to another referral service. We did a good job. Let's pat ourselves on the back. Who cares if the rapist gets away because we don't know what the hell we're doing? Do you get that it is horrible for me when I am victimized, actually victimized in real life, and I have to listen to some fucking idiot on 988 playing like they are some horribly victimized person because I am not speaking in the proper tone that their butthurt royal ass feels that they fucking deserve, while they talk down to me like I'm a dumbass.
Well, I remember you were talking earlier about legalizing assisted suicide. Why did you say that?
Because it should be legal for everyone, especially people on the streets.
Well, you saying that, like I said, I am concerned about your thought process right now. I mean, like,
because I believe that assisted suicide should be legal. Is it okay for you to fuck with somebody about their thought process if they think that abortion should be legal?
Sean, I just want to make sure that you're safe.
No, you don't care if I'm safe. You care if I kill myself over this abuse because you might get into a shit ton of fucking trouble. Then again, if somebody else kills me, how much trouble are you really going to get in? You just say, oh, I tried. We sent him to all these resources and he refused. Yeah, how about you go through my channel and see how many times I've called 988, 911, and 211. See how many times I've called the just regular sheriff's department number, the regular police number, non-emergency.
I mean, I don't have access to that in Oregon, sir. I don't.
Well, it's a good thing that I record everything live on my YouTube channel to the best of my abilities, because I literally have thousands of videos. I can't process them. I had a friend teach me how to do the email thing, so I have an email. A friend helped me to make a Facebook, so I have a Facebook. A friend helped me to make a YouTube, so I have a YouTube. That's what I have to work with.
Yeah. I mean, how can I support you tonight, Sean? How can I?
You can help to get assisted suicide legal because you're not going to help put a stop to the abuse. That's already obvious.
I'm here to prevent, Sean, I'm here to prevent suicide and to make sure people are in a safe environment.
Well, that safe environment part you are failing at miserably. I'm not the predator you need to worry about.
So how are you gonna stay safe tonight?
I don't have the ability to stay safe. I don't have the ability. Because all day yesterday and all day today, when people could have made a difference, they just wanted to argue with me like I'm a retard and ask about the suicide thing. How about stop pushing us to commit suicide by refusing to do anything about our predators when we're harmed? A homeless person is still a person. And a victim is still a victim,
Yeah.
whether they're telling on a cop who did it to them, or the next door neighbor, or their own dad.
Yeah. So what are you like you said, you've called so many. I know the only thing I could tell you is to stay safe, or to have, is still, call the authorities and to
Ma'am, you're telling me
call,
to do
go
something
to
that
the
I got
emergency
arrested
room.
for. You're telling me to do
Well,
something I
I'm
got arrested
sorry.
for and bullied for. So all you're doing is
Well,
giving me bad advice and making sure you go through the checklist. I get it.
I'm not going through a checklist. That's the only thing I could tell you is if you are in danger, you need to contact the people that will help you.
Ma'am, the police